Greedy Vance, man, getting ready for year 2 out there in Tallahassee. Greedy Vance of the Instagram interception a couple days ago we saw. How's camp going, man? How's preparation for this year treating you and the Knowles so far?
Camp going real good. I think around this time last year, we had a lot more time going into the season, but I feel like, this year we're still doing a good job progressing. We getting better with the little things, the mental focus, the intensity in our practice. And I think we have a good relationship on this team. I think we do a real good bonding and just coming together throughout camp so far.
What goes into that when you talk about the bonding and the relationships and the chemistry? A lot of that can come in practice and whatnot, but a lot comes outside of that. What goes into that for you guys right now that
Yeah.
has you feeling that way?
At camp, we had a whole day. So it's like, it kind of forces you to kind of talk to your teammates and things like that. On top of that, we'll practice, competing together, making mistakes together, uh, lunch together, team meeting, all those things play a big part in coming together as a team and just going through the process because camp is hard. And when it get hard, you can't just always lean on yourself. You got to lean on the person next to you. So that's what's been, real good for us.
When we look at your development as a young defensive back, going back from Karr to then starting your college career up at Louisville, and now from year 1 to year 2, even at Florida State, what do you look at as kind of your biggest areas of growth, particularly the last year, but just your journey overall to where you are at this point as a big time playmaker for a big time top 10 program?
Yeah, I think it's just my confidence, and confidence come with like preparation and just knowing that, all the things you had to do leading up to your opportunity. And I think that's what I always did, make the most of my opportunity. And always my process of preparation, I've always put myself in the best position. So when my opportunity come, I make the best of it.
Do you remember a big moment, a big game, a turning point for you, a time where it seemed like things clicked and you took that next step, you had that increased confidence level?
Yeah, on the back end of the season, I believe it was Georgia Tech. It was the second half of the season. First half of the season last year, I was struggling with the playbook and things like that, so I didn't really get as much time. But after that Georgia Tech game, my confidence kind of just took off from there.
You've Going back to your recruitment, you're coming out of New Orleans. We talked when you were committed to Arkansas at one point. You end up at
Mhm.
Louisville. Now you're at Tallahassee. How we talk about confidence. How just comfortable are you feeling with your surroundings right now? How at home is Greedy Vance in Tallahassee at this point?
Yeah, I love Tallahassee. Tallahassee love me. My teammates love me. I love my teammates. My coaches love me. I love my coaches. Um, on top of that, I have good relationships with people that's not in as much position as power. Lunch ladies, lunch men, janitors, things like that. So everything's just coming together fully around here. I'm very comfortable.
That sounds like home. That sounds like Greedy in New
Yeah,
Orleans.
yes, sir.
You guys have a growing contingent of Louisiana guys on that staff and on that roster. What has that been like? What's the dynamic like for you guys? Obviously, Fat being there and actually, being able to show what he can do on the field now. I'm sure he's feeling good, but y'all's relationships as guys in a lot of cases that knew each other from back in the day, whether on the same team or head to head on Friday nights. What has that been like to see that group grow? Take me behind the scenes of you guys, the Louisiana Seminoles.
Yeah, the Louisiana Seminoles has came a long way, especially me, Byron Turner. We had a couple guys that was here last year, like Bishop was here, but he's gone now. But we got Jakai here, so we all kind of grew up around the same area, I guess, in the same state, competing at camps, seeing each other, going against each other, things like that. So when we got here, it was just like we already knew each other, so the connection was already there. Now we're actually teammates, so we just got to continue to grow and build on that.
What have you seen from that wide receiver group? When we talk about Jakai, who's back, Fat, who's available now, Keon, who comes back down south from Michigan State. When you're battling those guys in practice, getting ready for the season ahead, what are you seeing from them that stands out?
Yeah, they different. They most definitely different. And when you cover them every day at practice, high intensity, high competitive level, you don't have to worry about people that you have to line up against on Saturdays. So.
Seeing Fat in action, I don't know that people forgot what he's capable of, but it's all the buzz coming out of y'all's neck of the woods right now is
Mhm.
so positive of what he's shown so far.
Mm.
What has enabled him to have so much success so quickly and seem like he hasn't missed a beat? And what should folks expect to see him on Saturdays or Sunday for this opener?
Yeah, I think he's super mature. I think he work hard. I think he have a positive attitude. I think he always willing to learn. Um, and he's just a football player on top of that. So, you add those things to a football player, which makes him a better football player. He's explosive. He catch real good. He run good routes. Um, he's obviously young, so he'll just have to build on like his mental, like his understanding for the game, just knowing more football. But as far as right now, he handling everything he's supposed to do. So I'm very impressed with him.
Have you had any specific big piece of advice for him in terms of that transition to college? You guys come from the same high level high school background, but you take a step up to the college level of competition and expectations and all those things. When you're talking to him or any other young player, what's your advice to those guys?
I mean, my only advice to like new guys, that's like young is that you're not in high school no more. You start back from zero. You got to come in every day. You got to prepare the same. You got to execute the same. You got to do all these things the same consistently. And if you don't, then that mess with your trust. That mess with if you're trustworthy, if you could be like counted on, things like that. So that's probably the main thing.
A question or two specifically about going into this opener against LSU. How familiar are you with some of these LSU receivers? What are some of the challenges that group poses? What do you guys have to do well on your end to be successful again when it comes time to kick this thing off?
Yeah, I know of a lot of them, but the only one that like I really know is Aaron Anderson because we went to school together. But
Yeah.
they're a good receiver group. I think we did a good job. I don't want to bring up last year, but I think we did a good job of just like not letting them have the explosive plays because they're such an explosive group. But I just think that, if we go into this game with the same mindset, taking away the explosive plays and things like that, then I think, just have to make them earn it for the most part.
When you have an opener of this magnitude, two top 10 teams going at it to kick things off, what is that like as a player to have essentially a month leading up to that game, know
Yeah.
what that can mean on a national scale? Just what's
Mhm.
the excitement or the attempt to kind of not let it get too big? How do you handle some of that?
At the end of the day, it's just another opportunity. Just to showcase what you did in the off season and your love for the game, your passion, things like that. I don't really try to get caught up into the rankings and the sold out and we won last year. They're gonna come back this like I don't try to think about that because that's just a distraction at the end of the day. And Coach Novell always preached to us about like, don't let the world distract you, stay honed in on what you gotta do. So when that time comes, we will be locked in and ready to play ball.
For the Louisiana guys facing an LSU last year in the Superdome, this year they come to you guys out in Florida. Is that a a special or particularly fun experience or anything to face that team that a lot of you guys watched growing up or had a chance to visit a lot on Saturdays while y'all were in high school? What is that like in terms of an overall dynamic?
The overall dynamic, now that I actually know, I think it's just like our fan base that we're playing in Florida now. That it'll be actually a little bit more hostile and things like that. But other than that, it's just another big game, another big opener. They got big openers every year, so we just so happen to be one this year.
Good stuff, man. Any message to some of your fans back here in Louisiana or to Aaron or whoever that you just want to share about where you're at or what you're looking forward to?
Uh, no, not really. No, sir.
Good deal. Greedy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.